lost houses, lost homes, lost possessions, but we've not lost anybody and we've hurt nobody. So the primary thing in any fire situation is personal safety. Safety of you folks in your homes, in your community, and especially safety of the firefighters.
It is chaotic and it's a complex situation. It can change at any time with the winds here. So we currently have about 100 residences that are evacuated in the area. They're immediate threat. So.
And the evacuated area was on Highway 1, the east side of Highway 1, between the 2 points where we have the road closed, which is at the Ventana Inn on this end, on the north end, and at the Julia Pfeiffer Burns Skate Park on the south end of the highway. It's like a 5-mile stretch.
We're working closely with law enforcement to do two things. One is to make it as possible as we can be to maintain an ordinary, normal life and get to our jobs, take care of the kids, take care of business while this is going on. And secondarily, but also extremely important, is keep the businesses open if we possibly can, because that's the livelihood for many of us here in the community.
I'm very concerned and very sad for my friends who've lost their houses, and just trying to stay hopeful that the firefighters are doing the best they can.
And how's business?
Business has actually been very busy. Today got a little slower, but up until today, it's been like summertime and really hectic. A lot of people seem unaware, and then the other people that are aware are just kind of curious about what's going on and hanging out to see.
A lot of people we know lost their houses and stuff, you know. Hear about it down at the pub, people talking, you know, speculating what's going to happen, what's going on, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been through this before and say, oh, you don't have nothing to worry about, but it really all pretty much depends on which way the wind blows, so.
Yeah.
Not kidding.
Nope, it's all back. It doesn't hold much, but
All right.
It's definitely loaded with
Hey,
the most
what did
critical.
you decide was important?
My daughter's pictures and baby things, and change of clothes for us, and some camping stuff in case we end up, you know, outside.
And the tent, of course.
Yeah, that's the camping stuff, yeah.
There are two kinds of evacuation. There is an advisory or what's the word? Voluntary. Basically, you're being told that this area is going to have a problem, and if you're not up to being able to handle the situation, you need to start packing now. Then there's a mandatory. Mandatory is usually administered by law enforcement, and they will tell you this is a mandatory evacuation ordered by the incident commander, and you are ordered to leave the property in a period of time, and they'll try to give you as much time as they can.
What's your name, boss?
Jim.
Jim, where are you from?
Jim from the Los Padres National Forest.
Oh, cool. So how's it going out there?
Oh, it's going pretty rough, actually.
Yeah?
Not as smooth as we'd like.
How was the night?
It was a long night, for sure. Foggy down here on the coast, and about 1,000 feet up, it was actually hot and dry. So the fire burned actively up on the mountain all night.
Oof. This is going to be a while, huh?
It looks like that way, especially the way resources are spread out so thin across the state. Just aren't able to get the personnel and the engines that we need for the amount of work that's out there.
So how long do you work on a shift? How does it go?
Typically about 16 hours would be the shift. It's a 12-hour work cycle, but by the time you get your briefing and get out on the line and work, ends up being about a 16-hour day.
Holding the fire on the coast Highway 1 is difficult. The fire's coming down behind a lot of ridges and deep canyons and structures. Hard roads to drive up with Type 1 engines. So we are having difficulty. We are losing structures. There's nothing we can say other than that. We try to put an engine up the road. We can't get it up the road, and that's just what we have to live with. We are not getting the air resources as we hope. There's thousands of fires all through the United States going on right now. We are not top priority. We are just fighting fires with what we got. We have aircraft at one moment and then we lose it another moment. So we can't trust it to be there to help support an engine on one moment because usually that aircraft is gone 10 minutes later. The east side is our toughest point right now because we do have that structure component on the Partington Ridge, and the fire did go up and over during the night and got way established on the east side. So the problem with that ridge is we have the fire coming down both sides of those homes, and the engine crews have to make a hard decision. Can they be in there in that structure at the same time the fire comes up two different sides? We've had fatalities in that same scenario, and we are not going to put firefighters at that risk. The top of the mountain, the North Coast Ridge Road, is not a point because it's just way over it and it's heading into the deep part of the wilderness. The second fire, called the Basin Fire, is probably going to touch this fire by today or tomorrow. So this will make one large fire, which I think we're going to have named the Basin Complex.
So essentially, that's where we are. We hope to not lose any more houses. That's absolutely our prayer. The guys are up there tonight on Partington doing the best they can. Obviously at night, no air support, so they're going to be everything they can do on the ground, and we'll just do the best we can.
The fire did grow in size today since we last chatted. It's currently at about 13,500 acres, and that's conservative, and that's a growth of about 1/3 from what it was yesterday.
And the concern for escape was so high that the team leader pulled out the troops at that point to regroup and come up with a better, safer plan. It's close enough to perform the evacuation, and they're setting up because of the continuing danger of fire below us all along Highway 1.
Making lunch for the Pente employees who've been basically here since the start of the fire.
Oh yeah, we don't sleep real well right now, but we're ready. We're ready. If we gotta go, you gotta go. But if you can stay, don't leave.
All of us would probably sleep three hours a night. The first day we didn't even sleep at all. And day before yesterday, was it last night? It was the night before last.
The Henry Miller?
No, here, man.
Right here?
It was insane. It was scary.
It was right
it was scary the whole time, but it was right there, and the flames were just licking the top of the fire break, and we were all on the roof watching. It was heavy. I was scared.
This morning it was 19,100 acres, which grew 10,000 acres yesterday, 1,500 acres today.
We're working with the Sheriff's Office, and we're working with our brigade members in the community to work out a way to very carefully and safely go into Partington with some residents from Partington tomorrow to be able to get valuables from the house, straighten things out, and get out of there in a half to an hour.
Well, the problem today is knowing where the fire is because of the smoke and the fog. You can't see it until it gets very close. It's very dangerous. We've already been chased out a couple of times by the fire coming up faster than we could see it.
The other.
Joe, fire's right below your house. You can't go.
Look, I was here at El Nino in '98, which was pretty bad, but it wasn't as bad as this much. You didn't have a road, the road was closed, but you knew your home was there, so.
I'm going to go up with the SPCA and see if we can't find a pot-belly pig.
Named Daisy.
Named Daisy.
Right.
Vicious Daisy.
Did you guys make a decision on what art needs to be saved and what doesn't need to be saved?
This artwork belongs to a man who passed away just very recently, who was a finalist for the 9/11 Memorial Towers. And Klaus Gorger's son is here, so we're just moving his artwork off the ridge and seeing what we can do with it.
And when that fire has a mind of its own sometimes, and I can't, it'll be fuel and wind driven. So it's burning in lots of places.
Rolling down the hill.
So you're going to have it from both sides?
Yeah, we'll be having it coming from both sides in a few moments.
I was off and retreat back a little bit. I don't want to keep anybody out of here. I don't want these trees coming down later. Yeah.
We just put everybody up at the hotel and the inn and the restaurant for a few days at Ventana, and then it went out and it went away, and now it's back and everything's evacuated.
This dog was evacuated, yes.
This is dog evacuee, huh?
Yeah, this is Willie.
Willie, how'd it go, Willie?
I'm just babysitting Willie, and he is a really good boy. Where do you live now? You've been moving a lot, huh?
We have a complete evacuation plan for White Rock, San Clemente, and the Santa Lucia Preserve. We have an evacuation plan for Carmel Valley. We have an evacuation plan for Coachella, all based on very, very, very good intelligence that we're watching by the moment.
Currently checking it. They're dumping water and or foam on it with the heavy helicopters to keep it from moving to the Tassajara area. The strategy there is to let it move slowly so that it's not a head fire, if you will, so that the fire doesn't race towards Tassajara. Rather, it backs towards it with fire behavior that is less intense.
A lot of people scared, a lot of people losing stuff, a lot of people running around, trying to make changes. We're not suffering as bad as the people out on the coast, for sure, but this heat ain't helping, and the winds.
The way the pattern is, it started on Partington from the very top, unless we get rain or somebody intervenes at a higher level than me in the IC, it'll continue to burn literally all of the material in the watershed.
East and west.
Okay, we have the basins complex now divided into a west zone and an east zone. We have an IC that's in charge of one east zone and an IC in charge of the west zone. The reason we broke it down that way is because of the span of control. The incident commander on this side has charge of about 900 people. The commander on the west side has another 900 to 1,100 people. And you can see how we broke it down, east and west.
We're anticipating that, barring a significant weather change, meaning rain of consequence, this fire will continue burning for quite a while. And we're not, by how many days? 3 weeks. Before I heard that, what I was going to say was, that doesn't mean days. We're talking most likely weeks.
And sir.
My name is Virgil Mink, and I'm from the Cleveland National Forest.
Well, you guys have been around.
We're a family. It's a family of fire control people. And what we do, there's a problem, so our family has come together to take care of it.
I want to say thank you all for your support, and we're here to help, and we're all in this together. We're still roughly at 3% containment, and that's likely to stay that way because as the fire grows, and even if we start building more line, the mathematics still keep it relatively low because the fire is going to get pretty large.
So what about Tassajara?
Yeah, the Tassajara area is on a 24-hour evacuation notice right now. The fire is within the 24-hour period. The fire is still getting bigger. It's currently at 27,000 acres.
Rapidly burning or slowly burning, it's going to probably burn, given what we've seen so far.
The folks over at Tassajara and stuff may be impacted in a few days. That's because it looks like it's probably for the next week we're going to see this movement.
Mandatory evacuation from down to the lime kiln. We will be having a displacement, and the closure will be hard closure for all residents as well as the public. And that'll start at 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Otherwise, at this stage right now, we're basically hunkering down for what is going to be a long-term effort.
I just came off a 24-hour shift. My partner went on, so I'm about ready to go and bed down for 24.
Well, thanks a lot, man. You guys are clearing the road for the eventual movement of the fire trucks now?
Yes, sir.
The fire's not established in the canyon yet, so that looks great. But until the fire's controlled, we're vigilant. We're just being prepared. So if the weather cooperates and we can get a line around it, it's looking great. If the weather changes on us and the line's not tied in or it jumps the line, then it's not going to look so good.
We went around, I think everyone on the property pretty much went around yesterday and packed up their stuff and tried to figure out what they would want to take with us. Just the valuables that can't be replaced, and, like sentimental stuff from like my friends and pictures. And
What are you folks trying to do?
Clear out all the redwood duff, the flammable stuff.
Clean up and hard work. These guys are great. They're all, working round the clock to do the right thing. They've been by a couple times to talk to me and, told me things that I could do to help keep the house safe, and so it's been real good.
He's trying to dig out behind the cabin. All the duff he just took off the roof.
Everywhere. Down in LA and stuff, there's firefighters just a couple minutes ago up here. So we're well covered right now.
Officer Lehman, California Highway Patrol.
And where are you located right now, sir?
I'm at Highway 1 at Palo, Colorado.
And what's the situation, sir?
Currently the road is closed. Everybody except fire personnel, emergency workers, and any other supply services that need to get into the fire camp.
52,000 acres, still 3% contained, where the community is threatened, those lines are holding. That's the important part right now. Okay? Current fire size is about 80,000 acres, plus or minus. We're moved to 18% containment.
For those who have stayed within the evacuation zone, is there a way that you can allow them to help their neighbors?
Obviously they can, but they have to get there to do it. And the getting there to do it is the rub, because that means going down to the highway or using the public access in some way, which in effect is a violation of the evacuation rules. So the answer is yes, they can, and yes, they have been, and can they do it at will or without any concern for the rules that are in effect? No, they can't do it without concern for the rules, but in point of fact, some of that has been going on and probably will continue.
What are you doing here?
Oh, just making sure the road is closed. Keep
the
looky-loos out.
What are you anticipating?
Hope for the best.
Currently checking it, as we call it. They're dumping water and or foam on it with the heavy helicopters to keep it from moving to the Tasahar area.
Spot Fire jumped the line Saturday morning. They've been working it hard for the last couple days, putting in a line right through here to try and contain it. So they're going to continue to work on that line today. And terrain is really sort of rough, so it's being hit from the air. You see the helicopters over here. There are 14 helicopters working today, and they'll hit it with water pretty hard all day, see if they can beat the flames down before it gets to that line.
We've had no additional injuries to date, which is another great thing. And unfortunately, we're just under $10 million. So fighting fire is an expensive proposition to everybody.
The more time I spend here, the more impressed I am with this community. You guys are fantastic. The support that you show not only the firemen, but also your friends and neighbors is an example for many people to follow.
How you doing today?
Okay, what's the count today?
Well, we don't know. They're just starting. Last night was 275.
Wow.
And last night's dinner, we were helped up by the Carmel Kiwanis Club, Carmel Valley. They did tri-tip chicken, and we had salad, rolls, beans, fruit. So it's a pretty good meal.
When am I going to be able to get to my home? When will Heidi be able to
As soon as it's safe, and it is not safe. There is fire all around there. We were there yesterday, and when there's fire there, it's not safe. When is the fire going to quit? I don't know.
71,000 acres plus. This says 69,000. The fire grew today substantially. Within the community itself, the fire is down to Highway 1. The firefighting efforts saved the Ventana Inn. They were actively engaged in what he called a true firefight down in there to keep the fire out of the Ventana Inn. And
support the firefighters.
You know, we out here to do our job. Right now, you know, we're supporting firefighters. We over here working in the kitchen, working a reefer, you know, handling some supplies.
How old are you guys?
I'm 19.
18 and 23, you know.
And you're the California what?
Conservation Corps.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good
no
luck.
problem.
Thanks
You
for
have
the
a good one.
fine work, huh?
Right.
that was my thought.
We have a lot of the radios. We're still working on the towers, I believe.
There is a strategy in place, and tomorrow, as I read this, is a hinge pin day, key fire day, in terms of meeting the objectives up on the the western and up in the northern piece of the fire. This is really turning the corner on protection of the Palo, Colorado area, the west side, and also into the community. So these next 1 to 2 days, really key days for us, and we're going to be really focused.
In our area, like in Otter.
Current fire size is about 80,000 acres, plus or minus. We're moved to 18% containment. That's good. Last night the fire misbehaved at about 11:30, 25 to 35 mile an hour down canyon wind, pushed some fire around. However, the fire stopped short of the Old Coast Highway. This whole perimeter is secure. Okay? Another good thing.
At 10 a.m., the mandatory will be lifted. The sheriff has worked with us closely. I'm going to ask him to sit down to rest his heart because his heart has been pumping that love light out to you. Honest to God, I'm so thrilled. It's tomorrow, and there's a lot of good news to follow that.
I thought about it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Hi, Sweetie, how are you? Okay.
Congratulations
on
your
thank
graduation.
You very much. Thank you. Thank you. I haven't had time to send things
Hi,
back.
sweetie.
To say thank you, but
Yeah, I don't get to see him very much. Hardly at all.
So a fireman's wife is never...
It's a fire widow, they call it. Yes.
Her fire
Not
husband.
for real, forever.
Don't forget the fire husbands.
That's true.
Yeah.
And fire husbands. And
Yeah.
the
We
same
must
problem.
be proud of this man, huh?
I'm very, very proud of this man. He's done a miraculous job, given his all. I really, really appreciate it.
That we all do. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll let you guys know.